I was looking at the Telegraph of London, which is a very conservative Brexit, they cover the royal family seriously kind of thing in London, and they are skewering the United Kingdom in a vote for becoming more European. Joining us now from Europe, Holger Schmieding, of course, with Berenberg. Wonderful to have you in our studio. Thank you. Is Brexit dead? Let's just start with that headline.
No, unfortunately, Brexit is not dead. Brexit is there to stay. We, however, are getting a little pain relief now with the UK drawing a little closer on a few issues to the EU again. Brexit has been really bad for the UK economy, and now the damage will be slightly mitigated.
Do we underestimate growth in the continent and in the United Kingdom? I keep seeing, Paul, 6 months later, oops, and up we go.
All in all, relative to the circumstances, which are globally not all that good, to put it mildly, Europe is indeed holding up. What we continue to overlook occasionally is that especially Southern Europe is mostly, not all of it, but mostly doing well, reaping the rewards of the harsh reforms after the Euro crisis, and that in the UK already, with Rishi Sunak and then Keir Starmer starting to reset relations with the EU, there is also a bit of a dynamic in the UK.
Is the EU at all receptive to, I don't know, some of the UK's overtures here? If I'm the EU, I'm like, no, you guys already voted.
Well, on the pragmatic level, the EU wants to strike deals, and it is striking deals. Good. Of course, this is the EU, the big EU relative to the smaller UK, which is about 1/6 of the size of the EU economy. And as a result, the EU does not allow cherry picking. That is for the UK to simply say, this is the part we love, this is the part we don't like about the EU, we want to have only the cherries. But we do see pragmatic progress, and in the age of Putin, and also in the age of Trump, we now have to say there is a clear rationale for the UK and the EU to work together on the military, but also easing some of the economic pains from Brexit for the UK.
So we saw the plans coming out of Germany, several months ago about reinvesting in their defense, in their infrastructure. That's fine for Germany. Can the rest of Europe do that?
The rest of Europe does not have the fiscal space for that. But look at a map. Germany is much closer to Russia, to Ukraine, than most of the rest of Europe.
As is Poland, right?
As is Poland. Poland has independently already raised its defense spending a lot, so have the Baltics. Germany was, in a way, the big missing country, the country with fiscal space not doing enough yet, and it's now closing the gap.
So does that suggest that the European economy, like we saw a lot of investors in the first part of this year move money out of the U.S. into Europe in stocks and bonds and currencies. Is that something you think is credible and is longer lasting, do you think?
Well, there was a bit of Europhoria sort of in late February, early March, and that has passed. But that was just a little overdone. The underlying analysis is correct. With Germany getting its act sort of together, never fully, but sort of together, with Germany using its fiscal space to improve its growth prospects via infrastructure, and with Germany doing more to defend itself, and basically also the rest of Europe against Putin, Europe is a more attractive place. And then you have the US problems, you have Trump, you have tariffs, you have the distrust in US institutions, and as a result, the US looks less and Europe looks a bit more attractive.
A terrific set of conversations today. Holger Schmieding with us with Berenberg. We continue. Cam Dawson, thank you so much for New Age. Coming up, Angela Stent with my book of the year a couple years ago with the war in Ukraine. Angela Stent on Putin, her book Putin's World, and Ed Yardeni will be with us for an extended conversation. I don't care about the economics. Do you see a boom year for tourism in Europe?
I'm going to be there in September.
Too much a word,
no,
but
I'm going to be there in September.
This is one of part of the European economy which looks set to grow quite nicely.
And it's like a big part, right?
It's a significant part for Southern Europe especially. And indeed, tourism looks good. Industry, of course, and a few services are still under the cloud of the Trump trade wars. But tourism is good. Welcome to Europe. I tell you, it's a great place, as of course.
Oh, really? And I looked at the obligatory flight. I called 5756, which is United out of Newark. Just happens to be the flight I look at.
Yeah.
And they're giving it away, Paul.
Are they?
Ready? $3,004. Holger Schmieding class.
You're going, yeah, you're not
And
going,
that's
you're
like,
not back of the bus.
That's like new low. I mean, that's
But Tom,
like,
I mean, Holger, we've got the euro at 1.12 here. We're not at parity for the euro. How high? I mean, is that reflective of the expectations for Europe in general?
The euro is still a bit undervalued. If I compare
Undervalued, okay.
If I compare what I pay here in New York for my hotel and for my tea relative to what I would pay in a major European capital, and if I compare many other prices, the euro is still modestly undervalued. We will likely go towards 120. Over the course of next year, probably.
120.
And then we'll have to see if the US gets its fiscal house in order or not. If the US does not, 5 years from now, we might be at 150.
A million years ago, the trade minister of France, her name was Lagarde, called me up and said, you got to go to this meeting in New York. And it was on innovation and technology. They were setting up a satellite out of CDG in Paris. Okay, every article is Europe's missed the boat on technology. Holger, how do the leaders of Europe initiate catching up in technology?
We will catch up in using the new technologies. We've always been good at that. The internet wasn't quite invented in Europe, but the Internet of Things, this is where Europe is very strong. The same will likely happen with artificial intelligence, unfortunately, partly because we don't have the capital market and the institutions to scale up the many startups we have as rapidly as it happens in the US. We will not have the really, really big immediate pioneer companies on artificial intelligence. But when it comes to using our highly qualified workforce, to turn artificial intelligence into something that's good for all of us, then European companies will be there.
This has been wonderful. Holger Schmieding, thank you so much with Berenberg this morning.